Yes, there used to be a ballpark right here. Hey, here we are, episode 3.
We're back.
Harmony and Hardball. We are back for episode 3. And we are excited to bring you another great episode. Thanks for listening. Thanks, everybody who's listened to our first 2 episodes.
Karen Beidel, I'm drinking water tonight, so leave me alone.
we will get started here with a couple of little just orders of business. So, again, you can contact us at harmonyandhardball@gmail.com if you have any questions or things you want to add. You can find us on YouTube if you're watching this, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, all those ways. Like, subscribe, do all those things. And
thanks, Tim. I think it will.
There it is.
Welcome. You are welcome. So we are going to go ahead and jump right in because we actually have a very exciting show for you today because we are going to have not just one, but 2 guests. We have 2 guests. So we're going to admit them in here in a second, and we're going to let them kind of introduce themselves. But these guys both love baseball. They both love barbershop, and we're just going to have a dandy time together. So here we go. Welcome to the show, Tim Waurick and Steve Armstrong.
My mom's favorite person in the world.
We're hoping Steve has a video.
Yeah, I know.
There he is. Hey.
Uh,
All right, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
What's up?
Thanks for joining us. We are super, super excited to have you guys. This is episode 3 of Harmony and Hardball, and we're just excited to have you guys. We're going to talk some baseball and some barbershop, which, in fact, let's get started right away. Tell us a little bit, give us each of your credentials for your sports fandom, and then also what are your credentials in barbershop? What have you done in barbershop? So just a real quick one on each of those. Steve, start us off.
All right. Well, being Canadian, I grew up as mostly just a hockey fan. And when the Blue Jays were created, for some reason I was home from school the day that they had their very first game. And I ended up watching it. And I just fell in love with baseball. I started reading Bill James books. I don't know if you guys know that name. If you know the story about Moneyball, he's the guy that wrote the books that Billy Beane was inspired by to use those strategies. So huge fan of his. I go to I don't know, maybe 15 ball games a year. Just last week, I went to my 28th and 29th ballparks. So I only have one left.
What do you have left?
So Sacramento. I don't know if I should go to that one or wait till they're in Vegas or whatever they're going to do.
Vegas.
Yeah. I think so. But on the other hand, I'm one away from a complete set, so that's going to drive me crazy.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
So I'm a huge baseball fan. I read about it every day. I watch a lot of baseball. And barbershop, I've been a judge for a very long time. I was chair of the judging program. I directed the Toronto Northern Lights for many years, a whole bunch of medals, including gold in 2013. And because I got friends like Tim Waurick on the committee, I got voted into the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago. So I'm grateful to him and the rest of my buddies on there.
It's who you know.
Yeah, it's who you know.
I love
It's
you.
who you know. Yeah.
That's amazing. Can I, real quick before we get to Tim, what can you give us, what are a couple of your favorite ballparks you visited since you've been to so many of them?
Besides Wrigley.
Besides, obviously, we know Wrigley's the best. So,
So I went to Wrigley for the first time in September, and it is a great park. But when I consider the great old parks, I have to lean towards Fenway. I know. I'm probably going to get dropped from this call now, aren't I? But I said the wrong thing.
That's later.
Does that help if I say one of my least favorite was Rate Field? I went there last week. It's pretty bad
there. Yeah.
I think my
were you one of 3 fans there?
Oh my gosh, yeah, exactly.
That was as many fans as we do.
There were probably like 2,000. Yeah, that's right. And the other one I really loved was Camden Yards. I just think that's
Okay.
a beautiful park.
Yeah. One that I've always wanted to go to is the one in Pittsburgh. I mean,
Yeah.
that the bridge backdrop, it just
Well,
looks amazing.
why didn't you go when the convention was there?
It's a great
was
question.
busy.
I was competing in a quartet.
Not on Sunday.
That's true. That's true. I was probably
I went on
driving home.
Sunday.
Just to
I
make you
should've.
jealous, Tim, I'm going to see the Pirates and Cubs in July in
Okay.
Pittsburgh. So,
There you
That's
go.
awesome.
We were hoping there'd be a game in St. Louis at International, but there won't be. They're playing
Yeah.
the Cubs in Chicago, apparently.
Yeah, they're out of town.
Yep.
Hey, Tim, it sounds like all of us will have been to the Pittsburgh stadium except for you.
I
So,
know.
should you really be
I live
hosting
in
this?
Pennsylvania.
I know. No, I know. I know. I kind of was late to the game and like going to games. I grew up really just like listening to baseball mostly and watching a little bit, but I didn't really go to games. My parents weren't really into baseball, so I kind of was late to the game, really getting into it. So yeah, I've
So
only
you're-
been to a few parks.
The
You were
Tims have
listening?
never been to the Pittsburgh Stadium.
You've never been
Tim,
there?
we
Tim?
should go. No, I've never been. I said I live in Pennsylvania and I've never been. I thought you were talking to me when you said, Tim, you're the only. I was like, what? Okay.
This
That's the
happens
problem
all the
when you have
time when
two-
Tim
two
Waurick
people.
and I are together.
Oh, drives me
I'm
nuts.
I'm on the same journey as you, Steve. This summer will be 14, 15, 16, and 17 for me. So,
Awesome. So, what will those four parks be?
we're going to Pittsburgh. We're going
Yeah.
to Detroit,
Yeah.
Milwaukee, and White Sox.
Cool. Well, the last
Yeah.
one, you're not
I
gonna
have
love
to
it.
do it.
I gotta check it off.
Yeah, Milwaukee's a nice park. I did that one last September as well.
I
Yeah.
sang with MVE there at the Star Spangled Banner. It was awesome.
Oh,
Great-
amazing.
Great park.
Yeah.
Great park.
Yeah.
Let's jump to Tim.
Well, so I grew up in the Philadelphia area. My mom especially my mom is a big Phillies fan. My dad as well, but my mom's to this day watches every game. So I grew up in Philadelphia as a Phillies fan. Our neighbor actually was related to Mike Schmidt, famous Phillies third
Wow.
baseman, maybe the greatest Philly of all time. And so his son was a bit older than me, so I would get his hand-me-down. So I would wear like these really nice clothes because I would get those. And in fact, we went to his house one time when I was just a little tiny child. I don't remember how old I was.
I think you're 15.
Thank you, Steve.
I know the rest of the story. I'm
You
going
know
to
the
say you
rest
were
of the
15.
story. So I was 15. No, I was much younger. And my mom took me there, and we were there at Mike Schmidt's house. I don't remember it, but all I know is that I peed on Mike Schmidt's rug. So
But he's 15.
Bad dog.
bad dog. So that was the beginning of my baseball fandom. But especially in the early '90s, the Phillies had a great team in 1993, and I think I had been a fan, but that was the year that I just was. I didn't miss a game. I would get out a sheet of paper and make the box scores, and we went to a bunch of games. So I was a big fan of the 1993 Phillies. So that was sort of how my fandom really kicked off, and I've been a Phillies fan ever since. I watched the Phillies win the World Series in 2008 in my house by myself. It was like amazing, but also the saddest. I'm like, wow. Well, here I was texting with Sean Devine. And Sean was on vocal rest at the time, so he couldn't talk. So we were just texting back and forth throughout the game, and we were both, I think, by ourselves watching the Phillies finally win the World Series in our lifetime. And so, lived in St. Louis for a while, went to Cardinals games on a regular basis. I booed there at the game because that's what I was taught to do as a East Coast Phillies fan, is you boo people. So I would boo, and I remember people did not like that when I was booing people.
Especially boo the Cardinals.
Yeah, no, well, whatever. But yeah, so that's been my thing. I love baseball, and I'm especially a huge Phillies fan. Watch a bunch of games. I watch it all the time. I watched it yesterday. It was such a great game yesterday.
Did you watch it tonight though? Don't worry
Did you
about
watch it
yesterday.
tonight?
I was preoccupied tonight. I don't know what happened.
Be a goldfish.
You
Forget
don't know
about
what happened.
yesterday.
Okay.
We'll just,
okay.
I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, in barbershop, been singing barbershop for about 33 years now, and I am the tenor of Vocal Spectrum, 2006 International Champions. Sang with the Ambassadors of Harmony for a long time. Still a member of the chorus, and occasionally sing with them. And that's going on 23 years now. I break learning tracks. I created Tim Tracks 20 something years ago. So I've been recording learning tracks for 23 years now. And so that's been a big part of my life. That's my main job. I'm a judge now. For the past few years, I'm in the judging category. I've had the honor of coaching some pretty great groups. Midtown and Gimme 4 and some other little quartet called After Hours. So really cool to get to work with some of the top quartets in that way. And because I had friends on the Hall of Fame committee, I also was inducted.
It's who you know.
Two times, right?
I got to get to know more
What did you say?
people.
2 times. Well, one was me and one was Vocal Spectrum. So people say it was 1 1/4. So I'm
1 1/4.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Times in the Hall of Fame. So
Back to baseball. Did either one of you two play baseball as a child or in your teens or anything?
I didn't play like in a league, but we would play in my backyard. So we would play kickball. Baseball we would do it when people didn't know, when no one was around. Play baseball.
I was
exactly. But never like organized on a team.
I played in a men's league. My church had a team, and I was horrible. I can't throw, and I would try to work the pitcher for walks so I could get on base. Because I read Bill James.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember growing up. I had my cousin Mark and I would so we grew up. We both grew up in families with no television, so we listened to the Cubs on the radio, Pat Hughes. And we would go in the backyard. We'd get together. We'd go in the backyard. We'd turn on the Cubs, and the two of us would just act out the games. We would our imaginations. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's always been such a romantic thing to me because of that whole.
Baseball is the greatest sport for radio for exactly that reason. You can picture the plays. You can imagine it. And I think that's why it was so popular before TV, especially.
Oh, I'd rather listen to it than watch it a lot of times.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah, so especially with some of the great, announcers that can really bring it to life for sure. So
right.
So Steve, you said you're a hockey fan. What? I assume Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh, you'll be surprised. I actually hate the Maple Leafs.
Really?
Yeah, I've been a fan of the Buffalo Sabres for years, and this year, finally, if you follow hockey, they missed the playoffs for 14 straight years, which was a record. But we made the playoffs this year. We're first in the division. It's been a good year. I'm a loyal fan. It's finally paying off.
Did Hasek come back?
Hasek?
Yeah. I loved him. He was awesome.
He almost won his Stanley Cup. He was a Blackhawk. We got him from the Blackhawks.
Yep.
For almost nothing. Yeah.
Go Hawks.
That's awesome.
I was just going to say real fast that one thing growing up that I always wanted to do, and I'm sad I never did, was be an announcer, like a PA announcer for the games. I love that. To this day, I believe his name is I think it's Dan Baker. Still does it. He did it when I was a kid, and he still does it now. So when I go to the games, it's just so nostalgic to hear that voice that I've heard for 30-something years. And I've always wanted to do that. And of course, listening to the famous the play-by-play from Harry Callis. What a legendary voice. So growing up.
How about Tim? Do you like Tom Cheek? Do you remember Tom Cheek? He's the one that said, "Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life." Do you remember that guy?
I didn't watch that one. I didn't see
Oh yeah. Well, you know what I'm talking about, right?
When you were 15.
I have no idea. I didn't watch it.
Was that in '93?
yeah. Well,
I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't watching that one.
Tim knew this was going to come up at some point. We can get back to it a little bit later
Yeah,
on.
we'll get
Okay.
there. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna jump right into this. So, what's your top like favorite memory actually in the stadium? So, like being at a game, if you could think of a favorite moment.
Yeah, and for me, it was so the Blue Jays won the World Series in '92 and '93, and then they weren't in the playoffs for like 22 years, I think. And in 1995, they got into the playoffs. They went down 2-0 to Texas and won the next 2 games, and then it was Game 5, and I was at that game, and it was a tight
Which
game.
year again?
2015.
15.
It was a tight game, and the seventh inning was really weird. Top of the seventh, Russell Martin's trying to throw the ball back to the pitcher and shoot a Korean batter. Can't remember his name. He just got stretched for the Rangers. He got stretched out, and the ball ricocheted off the bat and into the dugout. And then the runner scored from third base, and there was this long delay, and it was heartbreaking for us in the stands. And then in the bottom of the seventh, we got a guy on an error. The next guy got on an error. Third guy got on an error, and that was when eventually Jose Bautista hit a 3-run homer and did the bat flip.
You were at that game?
I was at that game.
Oh,
that was the
that
most
is
amazing
legendary.
thing. Yeah, I couldn't believe what I was. The whole inning, the tension from the top of the seventh, and then the bottom, you could just tell something was going to happen, And that was
That
amazing.
is fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think I can beat that, but well, I mean, I'd go to games when I was a kid a bunch, but I would say that in 2002 and 2002 and 3, I took my mom to go to a postseason game at Citizens Bank Park, and both times we won, which was awesome. Great games. But I'll never forget in 2023, I was able to get amazing seats. Somebody must have been selling their seats for cheap at the last minute. And we got seats for, I forget what, I think we were playing the Marlins. So I think it might've been the wild card round pretty early,
Mm-hmm.
but we got seats super close, right behind the dugout. And that was the game that Bryson Stott hit the grand slam, and we just crushed the Marlins. And I just remember being there with my mom. There was a famous Philly radio host guy who's right behind us. Oh my God, I'm blanking his name. I don't listen to him, but my mom does. Isn't that DeCamera is his last name? Is it Phil DeCamera? Something like that. Anyway, he was there, so we had a good time. It was just a great environment, a great game. And just to be able to go and take my mom to that game, was just really cool. So that would probably be my top moment. I thought my top moment would be when I went to the World Series in 2022 to see the Phillies and the Astros. Unfortunately, it's the only World Series game I've been to, and it was a no-hitter. The Phillies got 0 hits. It was an awful World Series game. And
glass half full.
Yeah. It was it was one of those where you're so excited, like I'm finally going to the World Series.
Yeah,
and we got not just crushed, but we didn't even have a moment to cheer. I think I was one of the lone voices still kind of cheering as the game went on, like, come on, we can do this. And by the end, it was just, that was a dirge. But yeah, my favorite of all time was the one where I went with my mom. So yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I like that.
That's great. That's great. What do you? So I had one little for this season, but like, what do you all? I'll open it up to everybody. But what do you guys think of the ABS, the challenges so far? Like, what are your thoughts so far as you guys have been watching some of the games this year with the new rule where you can challenge the balls and strikes?
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say that I think it's more entertaining than I thought it would be. It's kind of exciting when someone challenges it and you get to see the ball come in and how far it was, or you've had some good reactions from people who failed the challenge, right?
Yep.
So I think it's been pretty cool. I like it.
I think it happens so quickly. The other sports could take a lesson from the replay, because that's what slows every other game down is the replay. This happens, boom, they're right on it, and we're moving on again. And nobody argues about it, and we're moving on. It's awesome.
I think it's because it's not like a review situation where someone has to watch it and assess it.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
high def cameras. It's like the Hawkeye system in tennis, and you're right. It's very quick, and they show it up, and everybody in the stadium is watching this
At the same time.
and at the same time, and then they cheer, if it was in their favor. The interesting thing to me, and I do like it. So far this season, batters are only successful about 47% of the time, but catchers are successful about 60% of the time. So it seems like they've got a much better angle on that. And the result, small sample size because it's early in the season, but batting averages are down, home runs are down, and slugging percentage is down, but walks are up. And so as a result, the number of runs scored is about the same, number of runs per game, but they're scored in a less exciting way,
Right.
just getting on base through walks as opposed to, getting hits and home runs. So I think it's good, but maybe they'll end up changing the strike zone shape a little bit. I think the umpires really called it more like an oval than a rectangle.
Sure.
And I think that they're finding if they call it exactly the way it's defined, there are more strikes than intended, and it has an impact on the game.
We were talking about that with one of those, Danny. I think you texted a week or so ago.
Yeah,
there was one, and it was like the corner,
0.01
down
inches
and outside,
of it
and
on the zone,
barely touching down and outside. And it's like that is an impossible.
That's kind of where I'm feeling about it. It's just like, yes, technically it is a strike, but like you shouldn't get that call.
Yeah,
that's kind of where I'm on both sides of this. I think it is fun to see as part of the game. I think it does, like it's truer to like the math behind the game, but also like it is a game of like not just math. Like it's a romantic game, stuff like that. The human element is a huge part of baseball. So like there should be calls either way, but like I felt it's a little bit too far to be like, yes, the ball like touched 0.01% of the strike zone. Is that really a strike? Technically, yes. Like I don't know if it should be like maybe 10% of the ball has to be like in the zone to be called a strike. So I don't know if they fixed that part of it, but like there's something I'm just like, really, you can change that call. So
yeah, I agree with you. And same thing with instant replay. When they're looking to see, the tag at second base, the runner slides in, and either the runner or the batter, and I guess the runner loses contact with the bag for a fraction of a second.
Yep.
I think I have replay, but have the replay not be in slow motion. If you can't see it happen at full speed, then you shouldn't overturn it.
So I would say this about the ABS. I didn't know how I'd like it at first, but I really enjoy it. But the other thing that I really enjoy about it is it really tells us, for the most part, I won't say in every occasion, but for the most part, it tells us how really good those umpires are.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, when you're talking about, like Danny was talking about, ball just barely touching the strike zone, and they get that right at 95 miles an hour or in real time. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Only a couple
really
times have I seen it where an umpire is consistently getting calls overturned.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
And that's kind of interesting as well. But for the most part, it actually, it really does.
CB Buckner.
He had a bad game.
Buckner,
that was a bad game.
Angel Hernandez. Is he
Angel Hernandez?
Is he related to Kip Buckner? Yeah. Is he Kip's long lost
strike? Question mark.
Awesome. That's great. Hey, let's go into something. Some favorite player of your team. So in the entire history of the Blue Jays or Phillies, do you have a favorite player?
Well, for me, it would either be Joe Carter or Mitch Williams. I can't really narrow it down. Tim Waurick.
Tim's pained reaction. I love it.
Which one do you think I should go?
That's my all-time favorite Philly, Mitch Williams.
Williams.
I mean, I throw about as accurately as he does, so just not as fast.
No, Joe Carter actually is not my favorite Blue Jay.
Me either.
But that was a great moment, and I'd like to mention it. Every time I see an article. For those of you who maybe haven't figured this out yet, in 1993, the Blue Jays beat the Phillies in the World Series, and it was a game-winning home run by Joe Carter. in Game 6 against Mitch Williams, the Phillies
Iconic.
the closer. Yeah,
And it ended the game, and it ruined my life.
and of course, Tim was like 10 years old, and so I didn't know him then. But every time I see an article about Joe Carter now, I send it to Tim. So he.
I scroll through our text thread, guaranteed within 10 seconds you're going to see Joe Carter.
Is that how you found barbershop? You quit baseball, and the next day you found barbershop?
Honestly, it's pretty close. I mean, and I'm not joking. The day that I started barbershop is just about the day that happened. I just threw my hands up and said, I'm out of here. I'm
Enough of that.
sing.
Well,
I
thank
just-
you, Joe Carter.
Yeah, the whole Barbershop Harmony Society should have Joe Carter as their favorite player. Then.
I don't remember.
got Tim.
Yeah, I don't remember.
That's awesome.
I think my favorite player, it might be Josh Donaldson, part of the that 15 and 16 Blue Jays team. He and Batista and Edwin Encarnacion were just great power hitters. If you go back into the 80s when I was the first baseball fan, I loved Jesse Barfield. He was a right fielder with power and an amazing arm. I loved seeing a good throw from right field to third base. I mean, that is just amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's interesting because they're different eras, right? If you go back to, I can go back to Mike Schmidt. We talked about Mike Schmidt. I mean, I could easily say that he's my favorite Philly, even though I don't remember watching him as much. But I've watched later on, and I hear the lore of what an amazing player he was. And then, of course, now, I mean, I'm a big Kyle Schwarber fan for all you.
Tim, I was literally gonna bring it up.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
I was just
the
so
Cubs
excited
should get
to
a
say
guy
that
like
tonight.
that.
I love
Yeah.
that guy. He's fantastic.
This
guy.
is
That was the biggest mistake that the Cubs had with that
It's-
core, was letting him go. That was such a mistake.
So there's
real.
Lou Brock and Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
And I text well, the last 10 whatever years has been pretty good for the Phillies, and every time they've been in the playoffs I feel like I'm texting Tim about Kyle Schwarber because he has all these iconic moments, and I just love the guy still because he was huge in the Cubs getting their World Series. I mean, do you guys?
as well? He's a singer.
What's
He was,
that?
he was a show choir when he was in high school. Kyle
He
Schwarber
was.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you remember this, Steve and Tim, from when the Cubs were in the World Series in 2016. But do you remember Kyle Schwarber? He tore his ACL like in the first week of the season that year, and didn't play the entire season, didn't play the entire playoffs, and came back just for the World Series. Like, who does that? Like, nobody does that.
Schwarber.
And he stands up there like a softball, like Steve said. He played softball. He looks like a slow pitch softball batter up there, just as relaxed as he can be.
It's amazing.
And
He's
just lets
so
it
quick.
fly.
His hands are so quick. He's just
was.
and it seems like, just based on interviews and what I've seen, he seems like just a good guy. He just seems like he's a good guy. So I'm a big,
I think
I'm a big
literally
Schwarber fan now.
Literally one of my favorite sports moments ever is the 2015 wild card game in that iconic Pittsburgh Park. They had the wild card game there, and Schwarber hit a homer into the what's the bay
McCovey
called
Cove.
there?
McCovey Cove.
No,
that's San Francisco.
No.
Oh, yeah.
The Allegheny.
Yeah,
Allegheny. The
Yeah,
Allegheny.
yeah.
Yep. And he hits it and just drops the bat, and it's just, I mean, it's unbelievable. So, but that's one of my favorite moments ever. But that guy was awesome. I can't believe he's not a Cub.
I'm still a fan. I'm glad we signed him for a little longer. Probably to the end of his career, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
You guys can complain that he's gone to the Phillies, but on the other hand, you got Ryan Sandberg from the Phillies, and
that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
He was okay.
For Larry Boa,
it was okay.
Yeah, he was okay.
In the '90s, I was a big fan of Lenny Dykstra. Which what
do you think of him now?
That has not aged well. That has not aged well. But he was like this explosive leadoff hitter, and I think my friends, we all had our favorite players, and my one friend, he seemed to pick the Darren Dalton, who was a big one there, and so I think I got stuck with Lenny Dykstra, but I always thought he was pretty good. Honestly, one of my favorite Phillies of all time is John Kruk. Like that guy, I just love John Kruk. And he's a commentator now. He's the color man for the home games for the Phillies, and he's great. It's like sitting there and watching the game with a friend. He's just the most chill guy. It's pretty cool.
He would have been a fun player to cheer for sure.
It was fun to cheer for.
Yeah.
Until you ruined it. Thank you.
Hey. I liked it.
Hey, Tim,
barbershop,
on some barbershop?
Yeah, let's move on to some barbershop. So we're going to transition in here. So let's go with this. Tim and Steve, what are you guys kind of looking forward to about St. Louis International coming up? Do you have something that what excites you about International in general, or maybe just about this specific contest and convention? What are you looking forward to about St. Louis?
Are either of you in the pit?
I am. Yeah.
You are? Okay.
Yeah, I'll be judging. I'm excited. You know, some years you go into, of course, you never know exactly what's going to happen, but sometimes there's a big favorite in either the quartet or chorus contest. And of course, that doesn't always turn out to be the winner. But this year, it seems like there are multiple possible winners in both quartet and chorus contests. So it's going to be really exciting to see what happens. I know Tim is working hard with Gimme 4, and so his heart is probably there with them, and they definitely could win the thing. But I think there are other quartets, that also could win it. And same thing in the chorus contest. The Ambassadors in their hometown, I think, will be tough to beat. But Music City is going to be great, and Heralds are going to be great, and it's going to be exciting to watch all this.
The Sound of Illinois will be great.
Yeah.
Look out, people.
Are you guys doing the set that you did last fall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it's going to
be great.
It's going to have all kinds of new things with it. So, yeah,
nice.
When you heard it last fall, it was just kind of in its infancy.
It was brand new, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and also I'm excited. Alexandria Harmonizers are doing a really cool set that I was involved in writing the charts for. So I'm really excited to see how that one comes off. Yeah.
That's awesome. How about you, Tim?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to being back in St. Louis, where I lived for 15 years. It's kind of cool to be like in the hometown, there. And so that's really exciting. I'm going to sing with the Ambassadors of Harmony again. It's been 4 years since I've sung with the Ambassadors, so I'm excited to be back doing that. Johnny's the sole director now of the chorus, so it's exciting to be there and be a part of that for him. And with him, he's doing a great job. I'm excited for Gimme 4. These guys have been together now for over 15 years and have just worked their way up from, a quartet that wouldn't even come close to qualifying for an international contest to, second in the world right now. And, and you just never know what's going to happen this year. So really excited about that. And then, of course, excited about Vocal Spectrum. We're doing our 20th anniversary party, the roast and toast of Vocal Spectrum. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Is it sold out?
We're actually getting. I think it might. It's not there yet, but we're getting there, and I think I hope everybody would come, because it's really going to be a fun. It's not going to be that crazy long of an event, but we're going to have a good time. Crossroads is going to be there. They're going to roast us. We have some surprises. The Gas House Gang is going to sing. Which is just a real treat, because to be honest, you don't know how many more times that's going to happen.
Right.
And so the opportunity to be a part of that is so cool. And just for us to release an album, again, which has been a long time coming, and to celebrate 20 years as champs in our hometown as a quartet, that is just for us. That's a really cool thing for us.
We have our tickets, don't we, Terry?
Yes, we do.
I do as well.
And of course, the AIC show is always fun to be a part of. So, yeah, it's going to be a busy and great week. People are always like, "Oh, I can't wait to catch up," and I'm like, "Yeah, I hope that happens." I have 5 minutes.
5 minutes more.
Not this year.
Oh,
I think not anymore. I think
segue. So real quick, we are going to do a new segment, because since we're talking about them, we'll just get it started. This is called the Scouting Report. We have Tim Waurick here. He is one of the coaches of Gimme 4. So give us a little breakdown. What should we be looking forward to with Gimme 4 this year? We were just talking about them, obviously, but what are they What are they working on? What are you excited about? What do you think everyone in the audience should be excited about with watching?
Should I be listening to this, Tim, or should I should I plug
You
my
got a
ears?
few months yet.
Steve, if you're influenced by this, then you shouldn't be a judge.
All right, fair enough.
Steve and I have a love-hate relationship. Yeah, Gimme for, I mean, like I just said, they've been together for all these years. They've got some new music. They've got a couple new ones, which are really great. And they're just, they just continue to grow exponentially every single year. They just keep coming back and they keep improving. They're the greatest. They're just great guys. I like to say they're the guys last year at prelims that scored almost a 94 at the prelims. When everybody else was back in their rooms rehearsing or resting or whatever they were doing, Gimme 4 was doing a fundraiser for something and singing tags with people in the lobby during the afternoon after they directed 2 choruses in the chorus contest and competed the night before. And then they walked out that night and they went out and sang their butts off. And they were doing fundraising stuff, and this year there's more of that type of stuff that those guys are doing. And so this is a quartet that gives back. They're great guys, and I think that they have really come into their own as far as just being more audience centric in how they're doing things. They always sang well, but their singing gets better and better and better every year. But they're just really. It's just more heart, and I think that that's really something special that they're continuing to bring. And this is a quartet that I'll say it's probably controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway. Like, I think the finals have become this comedy hour thing. Like, everybody does comedy or everybody does something so crazy, a 10-minute long this, and I think that's fine. I mean, obviously that's proved successful, and the audience tends to really appreciate that and like that, but in this age where that is becoming more the norm, I don't think a quartet like Gimme 4 needs that, because they just sing and perform so well. They don't need, I dare to say, they don't need a gimmick, or they don't need anything like that. So I think that and that really speaks volumes for them, is that they don't need to go do anything like that, because what they do speaks for itself. They're really fun, and I think they're reviving. They're bringing us. There's a song they're doing that's kind of an old song that they've updated. They've done a few of those over the years, and I think this one will be really fun. Really gotten to a place where it's been updated really well. So yeah, I think it's going to be fun. They're, like I said, who knows what's going to happen. It does, no matter what happens at prelims or what happens in the past, you got to put it on stage at international, and everybody has to do that. So that's really what it comes down to. But I think they're going to be exciting, and definitely can't miss there in St. Louis if they make it, if they qualify.
They have to qualify. So that's right.
They were here a month or so ago at our Harmony College Midwest. They were awesome people, like you said. My quartet was coached by one of them, and they were great ambassadors. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, just curious. So I've been seeing a lot on the internet, Facebook specifically, with Alexandria and their set this year, and I know you arranged both the songs for them. Can you tell us a little bit about that set? It sounds really interesting. Tell us what you can. I mean,
I can tell you anything, because what you're seeing is the beginning of a social media campaign, so that people will know what's happening. There was a group in 1930s Germany called the Comedian Harmonists. 6 singers. Sometimes one of the guys played piano, but sometimes it was a cappella. 6 singers, and they were huge, like worldwide fame, Beatles level fame. All kinds of recordings and movies and all that sort of thing. World tours, and I remember this is 1930s Germany, and 3 of the members were Jewish, including the guy that wrote all the arrangements. And so, as time went on, the government was being more and more restrictive to them, until the point where they told them they could no longer perform as a group. They couldn't perform any Jewish music. They couldn't perform any music. Any Jewish members couldn't be part of it because that music was considered degenerate. And then three of them had to flee the country. The three Jews had to flee the country to, save their lives. And so Barry Manilow had come to discover this story, and so he produced a Broadway show called Harmony, which was the story of the comedian harmonists. And it ran on Broadway for 6 weeks only, then it shut down. But the midwinter in New York City was at the time that it was running. And so Joe Cerruti saw it and was incredibly moved by this story and thought barbershoppers need to know about this group because it's so close to, what matters to us as harmony singers. So then he decided he wanted to do a contest set about this and asked me if I would write the arrangements. And so I've been involved in that. Obviously, I can only be involved in it until the end of May, at which point because I'm judging within 30 days, I can't coach or advise or anything. But I've been there to coach them, and I'll be there again prior to that. And I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a wonderful set. And I just did a little recording that they posted today, I think, talking a little bit about the arrangements. So if you want to take a look at that, you can get more information about it. But yeah.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks.
For sure. So on to kind of finish up talking about international here, Steve, what would you say is the single most difficult thing for you when you're judging, when you're on International Week, that whole kind of grueling week of quartets and choruses?
Yeah. Well, as you kind of hinted at, it's fatigue, and it's physical fatigue, but it's also there's a mental and emotional fatigue. I mean, it's just a lot of groups to listen to, but the mental fatigue is, if I judge in a district, there might be 2 or 3 quartets that are going to score 78, 79, 80, and I kind of remember who they are, and we're not really directly comparing groups, but I have an idea where I scored each of these groups. But when you go to international, you're writing down those same numbers over and over and over again. And after a while, you start to question yourself, can this really be the case? But, the way it's designed, we have so many quartets that are bunched in that level. And once it separates up into the higher, it's a little bit easier to write down scores because there's some separation. But that pack, you just start to really question yourself. And you go through such emotional experiences. When I listened to, like, one of my all-time favorite moments at Tim Beidle was when I was front row center of the 3 rows of judges. I was in the middle seat when you guys won and sang Next 10 Minutes, and I'm listening to that and, hearing the emotion of the quartet and watching Drew right in front of me. And, that when you go through that kind of emotional experience over and over and over again in a short period of time, that's emotionally kind of exhausting. I mean, it's all great, but fatigue is the biggest thing. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, easy for you to say.
Well, I get it. As a judge, I mean, judging 30 quartets on a Friday night, that's daunting. I can't imagine. I mean, I've never judged international, but judging 60 quartets, 60 plus quartets, and then 3 rounds, and then the chorus, and it's a lot.
It's a huge honor, though, and also you realize the historical importance of what you're doing. So someone is going to be crowned champion, and their lives will be different forever because of that. And so you want to get it right for sure. But yeah, it is an incredible honor.
That's great. Well, I thought we'd kind of end with a fun one, unless my other hosts have any ones they want to add in here. But we had a little fun one to kind of finish up our session. So thanks again for coming on, guys. But if you had for yourself a dream quartet that you were a part of, okay, so you can pick what part you would sing within the quartet, who would be the other 3 singers and what part would they sing? And are we gonna go? Are the hosts gonna also play the game?
Yeah, let's
do it. They should. You guys should do that too.
Okay, let's do it.
I don't want to sing.
So who wants to start? Danny, why don't you start us off?
Cool, I'll start. So I was thinking about, I was like, do I want to go like different members of different quartets, or just like slot into one quartet? So I was thinking, I think I would love to slot into platinum. I would just go in there.
Period.
I just love the sounds they have, beautiful arrangements, everything, so much mastery, vocal accents. Like, oh my gosh, I'd love to just head in that group. It's so fun. I think like if I could build a time machine, and if Kevin Miles' car broke down on the way to our national or whatever, I'd be able to slot in and sing it. We would have fallen out of the qualifying if I had to sing with them. But but even so, I just love the songs they did. It's fantastic. I remember actually I was with Brett. It was in Louisville after the ASC show, and I saw Kevin Miles, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Kevin Miles!" I was like, "Is that actually him?" So Brett helped me build the courage to go take a picture with him. So I have a picture, like
Yep.
saved my favorites on my phone of me and Kevin Miles. Like, "Oh my gosh, it's Kevin Miles!" So
I'll
I
never
love that
forget that.
quartet. Yeah, I love that quartet. It was awesome seeing them sing. Just like the one tag on stage that year. So it's a fantastic group, and I love listening to all their stuff. So I think I would love to slot into platinum for sure.
And maybe they'd sing some of your arrangements. That would be.
Hey,
I actually I really like the arrangements that you write, and I think
thank you,
I
Steve.
think that would have been really cool. I think they'd enjoy them too.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Better clip that, Danny, and put it
I
on
was
the
gonna say,
website.
yeah.
Oh
That was
my
been my
God, we're not
ringtone
gonna
for
be
a
able.
while.
Save that
You're
one.
gonna
My
get me.
ringtone.
Mulford, what do you got?
Well, I wouldn't be singing in it, but I would. I have four guys that I think I would like to hear sing together, and Mr. Warwick is one of them, along with Drew Choa, your lead, and Oxley on bass, and DeRosa on baritone. I think that would be a super quartet to listen to. I like all four of those voices, and the blend of those guys would be great. So
Fantastic. How about Steve?
Um, yeah, when you mentioned that we were going to do this, I started thinking about it, and um, yeah, definitely, I'll take the bass spot. I won't be able to keep up, but boy, would it be fun to try. And I think I picked people who I think are all-time greats, but also people that I know and really enjoy hanging out with.
Yeah.
So I'd have Brandon Guyton on baritone. Um, and I think I'd have Mike Slamka on lead, and I'd have Tim Warwick on tenor. Yeah, Tim's a really good friend, and I mean, no one's going to argue with that choice. He's pretty amazing.
my mom would agree.
Yeah.
How about Terry?
So Tenor Terry in his heyday, probably the guys that I would have wanted to sing with. Lead is interchangeable. It could either be Chuck Sisson or Randy Chisholm, one of the two, just because
Wow.
they could sing the snot out of a song. One of the best baritones ever, Rob Henry, just an amazing baritone. And this one is a little bit off the wall, but I just really always enjoyed his voice. And that was Jamie from Second Edition. I really enjoyed his bass voice.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome. All right, Tim, which one of us goes first?
Which
Go
Tim?
first.
What's that?
You go first, Tim.
Okay.
I'm still thinking.
Yeah, I went back and forth, and kind of for what similar reasons Steve said. I was thinking about, so much of quartetting is the community and who you enjoy being around. So I actually had the same baritone as Steve. I had Brandon. In addition to just enjoying hanging out, man, Brandon, some of those songs that he sang with Crossroads, even where he took the melody, just such a musical, beautiful voice. Would never say it if he was on here, but
Of course
Well,
not.
he wouldn't call you back anyhow.
yeah, right.
I hope he listens.
Oh my god.
So
Great.
Brandon on baritone. Lead, I would have to go with Rick Knight. That was, Gas House Gang was my first quartet that got me into the style, and I remember as a kid, I was like, I just don't know that there can be a voice any more beautiful than his voice. Just the ability to just sing effortlessly and beautifully in kind of a mix, and then have the power to just slot in those fives on the tags. Just Rick Knight. And And then bass is so difficult because I could go Jim Henry, could go Jeff Oxley, but Martin Ringmasters just
Mm.
just a musical bass who can do everything, range, musical, just he has it all. So Martin, I think I would go with Martin.
Well, I guess here we go. You know, it's weird because there are so many people that I idolize and look up to. I mean, and I got the opportunity to be on stage with Jeff Oxley and Tony DeRosa and Joe Connolly, and that was like, I couldn't believe I was there. Like, I was just like, there is another tenor that should be here, and it's definitely not me. And then, you know, just so cool. But I think if I were to really go and say, okay, if it was a real quartet, like, let's go do it, you know, I would say, I'm going to say Corey Hunt on bass. And Brandon was the one that I chose for baritone, but I think he's out. I mean, I can't let him be in 3 fantasy quartets on one podcast. So I was thinking of a Brandon, but I also was thinking of Emmanuel Roll, who is just he's so great. Emmanuel from Ringmasters is amazing. So I'm thinking maybe Emmanuel on baritone, and my buddy Jordan Litz.
That's awesome.
I thought that you were going to say Jordan.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Jordan and I, you know, there was like a brief period of time where, you know, you wonder, am I going to do another quartet besides Vocal Spectrum? Like, you know, people move on after a few years and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And there was a brief period of time where I wondered, like, okay, if Vocal Spectrum doesn't last more than, you know, 5 years after we win or whatever, you know, who would I sing with? And I always thought Jordan would be so great to sing with. He's so talented, and he's obviously incredible. And now he's in London performing as Fiyero there, and he was on he's the longest running Fiyero on Broadway, and he'll probably surpass 2,000 shows as Fiyero. But but he's also a great guy, and he's so much fun to hang out with. So yeah, that'd be fun. And to
a
get
great
him
swimmer
back in the barbershop world, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked out, our listeners, I think it's called like the Swankified Stairwell Sessions. I think he does those arrangements. Jordan does of them just singing incredible, like beautiful arrangements. You can tell there's some barbershop hiding in those chords a little bit. It's like, oh yeah. So those are fantastic videos. He posts, I think, typically on TikTok. So if you don't know if you don't know or those videos, you got to check those out. Those are incredible singing, incredible arrangements, super cool stuff.
Yeah, and they're just amazing singers, and they were all in Wicked. Some of them have moved on, but they were Elphaba, and it was and of course Jordan was Fiyero. It's amazing. So yeah, check them out.
That's awesome. Well, hey, thank you guys so much, Tim and Steve, for coming on the podcast, and thanks for talking about 2 things that we all love: barbershop and baseball. And we hope that the St. Louis goes great, and we hope that the rest of the baseball season goes well, and that the Cubs end up in the World Series against the Blue Jays. So,
hey, thanks. And Tim, before we go though, Tim Waurick, who's ahead in our fantasy league right now? You and I.
Let's see here. So Steve and I are against each other this week in our fantasy league, and I'm definitely ahead right now. So,
but you're probably like 5-4 or something like that, right?
No, I was ahead when this call started, but Steve has now.
Yes. Did Joe Carter do something?
Joe Carter did it.
Touch them all, Joe.
I tell you, with these 2 guests, we may get up to 20 subscribers after this.
We may.
I think
reach that milestone.
You guys get a kick out of this. I don't know which one of these 2 yahoos said, you know, we ought to advertise at International this year up on the board. We ought to buy one of the advertisements up. That was you, wasn't it, Terry? Yeah.
Yeah, but then we said we'd have to actually spend money on.
Yeah, we're not. Our goal is not to spend
our budget
anything.
of 0 would have to increase. So
I bought a $30 mic though.
It was really fun. It was really fun just to talk about these things with you guys. Happy to do it anytime. I hope you keep this going. It was a fun time. Yeah.
It's a
Awesome.
great idea, and I think that there are even other things in barbershop that barbershoppers have groups that they talk about different things in, and I hope it inspires other people to maybe do something like this when it comes to, I don't know, Wordle, whatever.
Shout out Jim
There you go.
Staley. Shout out Jim Staley. Wordle.
That's right. That's
Wordle
right.
champion.
Awesome. All right. Well, we will see you all next time on Harmony and Hardball.
Next time.
Thank you.
Basketball, football, hockey, and golf. Man, I love watching sports.